And I'm live, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mark, aka Christ69, coming to you with a hot topic. This topic is about something that happened in 2015, August 2015, 2014, 2015. It's called Gamergate. You might know what Gamergate was. Gamergate is a loosely organization of misconduct online harassment campaign motivated. If you go by what Wikipedia says, Gamergate or Gamergate (GG) was a loosely organized, misogynist online harassment campaign motivated by a white ring backlash, anti-feminist, diversity, and progressive in women video game culture. It was conducted in using harassing Gamergate hashtag primary 2024 2015 2015 2014. Gamergate targeted women in video game industry. Mostly notable feminist media are Anita Sarkeesian and video game developers Xeon and Barwetta. Gamergate began in August 2014, called the Zoe Post by Quinn's ex-boyfriend, which falsely insisted that Quinn had received favorable review because of Quinn's sexual relationship with a gamer journalist. The blog post was separate to 4chan. That was the what you know was the um, little. It was the 4chan was more of a group where many users previously discarded Quinn's work and led to a campaign of harassment against Quinn, coordinated through the anonymous messages boards such as 4chan, 8chan, and Reddit. The harassment campaign expected to target Sarkeesian, Wu, and other who defending Quinn and indicated doxing, rape threats, and death threats. So, Gamergate was a wild time. I started my channel in 2014, right after the Gamergate fiasco got underway. So when I got on the board, Gamergate had already happened. Listen, harassment is going to happen no matter what you do. Harassment in the workforce is not right. Harassment in school, harassment online is not good either. But when you're playing Halo 3 and you come on as a female Spartan, you're gonna get teabagged, you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get what they used to spank the butt of the player by by hitting the person with her face down, and making the butt move. That was a retarded thing. But Halo 3 was just a lot of kids and stuff, a lot of adults too, doing weird shit. That shouldn't it shouldn't have happened. Listen, I'm against harassment of any kind. If it's because person's retarded or person is female, trans, whatever, I'm against any harassment because me personally, we have enough problems in the world today. We got children that can't find something to eat. We have mothers wives being beaten by their abusive lovers, man or woman, doesn't matter, and they can't find help. We have soldiers blowing themselves away in parked cars in parking lots because the VA is having so much of backed up issues with soldiers and mental health. And this was kind of just another, like another damn, linchpin that exploded the whole, that gave Nita Sarkeesian her 15 minutes of frame. And she went after play people like Alpha Omega Sin, who just wrangled her like crazy. In Boogie 298, even though Boogie was trying to defend, because at a anti-bullying meeting, Anita bullied Boogie. That's okay though, because Anita's skeeting the female, and they don't bully, right? But I watched the whole situation. I watched it, a couple months later. I'm like, this is just the most dumb thing I ever heard. Uh, Anita, we'll read on a little bit more about it, though. Gamergate proposed and Gamergate has begun describe culture war over culture diversity. Artists, education, feminists, video games, social criticism, video games. Identity of games. Supporters stated that social movement, however, as a Gamergate led figures both inside and outside the game industry focus methods of addressing online harassment ways to minimize harm and prevent similar events. Gamergate has been viewed as a combination of uh, alt right and right wing movements. In 2013, uh, Zoe Gwynn, independent game developer, released Depression Quest. Depression Quest, a text force game designed to convert the experiences of, depression of Nathan through a series of functional scenarios based upon part of Quinn's own experiences with the illness. The game received positive reviews in the gaming media and from mental health professionals, but faced backlash online from gamers who disliked it depart from typical game formats. Um, and demonizing violence and skill, and who opposed political interactions of gamer culture. Quinn was subject to severe months of harassment due to its release, including rape and death threats. Quinn documented the harassment they received and spoke openly to the media about it, which led to more pronounced abuse against, such as the posting of her home address online, cancellation of future public appearances, and untimely fled their homes out of fear for their safety. Guys, I understand people have, a lot of, a lot of weirdness about them. I get that people are insane. I know the gaming community. I know we're not the most brightest bulbs in the whole bunch. I know that no, we're not sitting around, quoting Shakespeare and writing great poetry. We're blowing each other's heads off in Helldivers 2, or swinging around like Spider Man, or killing people on a school on no on a bus in Grand Theft Auto 5. I know we're not the most brightest people in the bunch. I get that. I get that a lot. See, I understand it. But somebody who's looking in from the outside thinks we're a bunch of damn freaking retards running around slapping each other on the face with frying pans or whatever. I think we're comical. And we have enough people as it is trying to destroy gaming. The federal government tried to destroy gaming back in 1992 because of Mortal Kombat Night Trap. No, and no, and Nia Sarkeesian, to me, that woman, to me, is a gaslighter. To me, she gaslights things. She jumps on the latest bandwagon. Zoe was going through Quinn was going through a serious issue, and all Nita, all Sarkeesian did was pour gasoline on the fire, and she wanted something to. So I applaud Quinn for discussing her issues, and I condemn people who are for harassing her. But gamers have been mostly a male-driven sport or recreation for a long time, dating back to when I was a kid. Granted, young kids and girls and boys, young teenage girls, teenage young girls played games too, but it was mostly dominated by men, male, because of that reason. Because a lot of boys played video games more women. I'm not saying that women can't do it. Just saying that was the whole the parameter. Nowadays, it's actually women are actually on par with men. Females are on par with males. On par almost 50-50 now when it comes to game playing. Mostly both spouses or both partners are playing games. A lot of friends I know, their spouse or partner play games too as well. So in male and female. So it's not just a male sport anymore or male recreation anymore. I think we need to get past that and think, well, it's just a man thing. Well, it was or a male thing back in the 90s or 80s. Everybody was. But nowadays, where these games have women in it now and antagonists, Lara Croft, and you have, the Last of Us Part 1 and 2, you have, different games where women are actually the hero or actually have a big part into the story. I think that's more and more a good thing. Now, do I think that, the feminist movement should be put into the gaming industry? No. Like, I don't think, far right or far left should put it either. We should have no political allies in video games at all. Video games should be a neutral zone where you go there to escape reality, not be force fed more nonsense from it. You play a game to escape reality for a while. But you got bills to pay. Maybe you have a rough day at work. You know it's gonna be rougher tomorrow. So you pop in Spider-Man 2 and you swing around New York City for a while. That's your relief. You don't want to pop up and have see LGBTQ and transgender and feminist nonsense all over billboards in the game. Especially if you see one in a town that has maybe your town is more open to that than most towns. So to me, video games are a way to escape, not force people to indoctrinate them on more nonsense. And so this is why our schools nowadays are being run by a bunch of leftist nut jobs, and why parents are pretty much fighting against that. Now, getting off politics, because I'm not a politic channel, that's where I think a lot of it comes from. Is that situation at hand where a lot of people don't understand that not everybody wants to have the politics shoved in their face in gaming. I understand Anita and Zoe and the rest of them. I get why they have the problems. But when you try to force people to accept your ideology, you cause problems. When Anita wanted to ban games, and she wanted to ban games because they didn't have enough women in it. You're trying to force people, an ideology down someone's throat. If you don't like what's on TV, you change the channel. You don't call up the channel, you don't call up the person that owns the channel. "Oh, I'm going to sue you if you don't change this format you have." Maybe 99% of the people watching that channel like what programming is on. If you don't like that, guess what? You change the channel. You watch something else. But it seems like video games the only thing to me personally that people are trying to manipulate and destroy from within. Now, the leftist nonsense has already destroyed most of the country if you believe in this kind of thing about the ideology and stuff. The feminist movement used to be back in 100 years ago about women's rights. Now it's pretty much these secret hate guys and they want to make everything that men love miserable. That's what I get from it, from from messaging people and listening to people online who talk about this stuff. Now I went over and talked about it. Now I went over and actually researched Gamergate again. I went there because it could happen when I came on. My channel started. Gamergate was already underway. I made a video too about it, but I didn't think much of it because I didn't think much of it at the time because it wasn't much to think about. Because my channel is brand new. I had maybe 5 subscribers, so I wasn't really gonna go in there and dive into a political storm, not knowing what the hell I'm diving into. Because I could be destroyed while I'm on the casualty destroyed, and I'm swept under the rug, or I can be pulled into a political movement that I have no agree or disagree with. I don't care either way. So, but we'll read on a little bit. Wikipedia here. We'll read on a little bit. Uh, these are Keynesian and tropes versus women in video games. Gamergate expanded into including reveal harassment, including critic Anita Sarkeesian, who had previously been a target of online harassment in 2012, part of the YouTube video series Tropes versus Women in Video Games, which analyzed the sexist portrayal of women. After a new episode of Tropes versus Women released on August 24, 2014, Sarkeesian received rape and death threats. Private information, including her home address, was leaked. She completed to flee her home at the XOXO, whatever it was, Arts and Technology Conference, Port Oregon. She said in regard to her considering the high-profile women who were making up threats against them, that was one of the most radical things you can do is actually believe women were trying to talk about their experiences. The perpetrators Skeeting went on to say, do not see themselves as perpetrators at all. They see themselves as noble warriors. Okay. Sarkeesian canceled her 2014 October 2014 speaking announcements. Utah University High School received anonymous threats, second which claimed with Gamergate then an intentional threat, Montreal massacre style attack that will carry out against the attendees as well as students and staff. Women's Center 1989 mass shooting movement by anti-feminist threats who said that I would have to dispose semi-automatic rifle, and multiple pistols, and pipe bomb. U.S. President and previous release joint statements. USL. Uh, blah 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 blah. Here, the threats were mainstream media. Nick Wang in the New York Times threatened had referred to the threat as the most nonsense example of how long campaign to drive. Um, didn't find perpetrator some threats and then kind of persecution to others. Barana Wu, we ain't gonna. And developer, co-founder of game studio Giant Skeptical, saw her home address identified. Um, well, guys, it's really what I think. What really came from this was that the what really came from this situation was that Gamergate was a weird time. Gamergate, you had to understand, guys, a lot of things have happened on YouTube. YouTube was trying to take away ad funding from a lot of YouTube subscribers. This was big news for YouTube, for a lot of creators. Boogie298, who I messaged once or twice, and I never got much message back from him. But he talked about stuff like that, and he was kind of a Boogie298, kind of a centrist person. He was always on the fence. He never picked a side. And like I said, something about Alpha Omega Sin, when Nita Sarkeesian came after him, or messaged him, or added something about him, he was irritated. I watched this video many years ago on it. And I think we have to understand, guys, that gaming should be enjoyed by all people, regardless of sexual orientation, your sexual who you are. Should be in love. We should be able to have a good time. Yes, you're gonna have nuts out there. You're gonna have people gonna say weird stuff. You're gonna have that, and you can't stop it. Okay, because you ban them, they yell free speech, then there goes that whole constitutional thing. And that's why I always tell people, do not open a can of worms. If you go out there and say, well, he's saying hate speech, well, it's protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution. We have the right to say what we want to say. Now, if you say kill the president, kill everybody in the White House, kill everybody, you say all that crap, that's one thing. And making threats to head of state. If you're saying I'm going to kill you on this game, that's not going to say that's not a threat. If you say Anita, I'm going to rape you, burn you, and do all this bad stuff to you, that's one thing. Or Zoe or anybody else or Mark or whoever else, that is harassment. And that's not free speech. But you can say what you want to say. So you say, I don't agree with the feminist movement. I think the movement is garbage. I think they secretly hate guys. I think they just are miserable. That's not hate. That's a opinion. Freedom of speech. You have to word it differently. A lot of people didn't. They worded it, oh my God, Nita's trying to come in and take our gun and take our games away. Well, some games out there should be taken away. That Rise game, that one game that came out on PS3, that was terrible. Um, game like that, and certain games should be taken away. That should be looked at differently. But do I believe in what they were saying as victimhood? I don't know. Did they instigate it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Because I wasn't there. Like I said, my channel started in 2014, right, right around, well, actually, right before this thing started. I started in June. Started in August. So I was still kind of a couple months in, trying to find myself where I was going to be at, which side I'm going to be on, gaming, tech, whatever. Um, so I was still brand new, still green. So I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to be. I didn't have an idea at all. And that being said, it's understandable to have that. It's understandable to have that. It's understandable to have that kind of understanding. So Gamergate will go down as history as probably one of the weirdest things I ever seen. Did much come from it? Not really. Harassment still goes on to this day. People still get harassed. People still get harassed by everything under the sun. We still have threats going on for everybody. We still have doxing. We still have people hacking people. It's just it doesn't matter. So did Nita, Zoe, and that one lady actually win anything? No, they probably got 50 minutes fame. They probably got their money endorsements. They probably got something out of it. No, hey, they went to a lot of places, made a lot of money, speaking to a lot of people, probably. So, is that a terrible thing? Probably not. But do I care about it? No. Because, guys, I'm not centrist. I'm a neutral person. I don't care either way. I'm not centrist. I don't try to appease anybody. I'm very neutral. I have my beliefs. I have what I do, what I believe in, and that's what I do. Um, do I believe in harassment? No. Do I believe in threats? No. Do I believe in doxing? No. What I do believe in is having conversations about said issues and having, and not talking down to people like Anita has talked down to people before. She talked down to Boogie 298 about because he tried to smooth things over, and she just went after him like like a bull in a china shop. Instead of being the bigger person, she went after him, and bullying him at an anti-bullying campaign conference. So it kind of defeats the purpose there. But that's one fact guy's opinion. What do you guys think about this? Have you guys aware of Gamergate? Have you guys were on YouTube at the time? Do you guys remember reading about it or watching on YouTube? Comment down below your thoughts on this. Do you think anything really happened positively outside of Gamergate, or do you think it's just business as usual? Comment down below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. See you guys later. Peace out.